Welcome back to another episode of Young Not Dumb Not Broke. We are your hosts, Stephen Corner, the mortgage man from Glass Financial, and
Joshua Mason, Choir Dining and CL Wines.
we have our most interesting guest on to date. Her name is Valeria Sizova. She moved to Australia when she was 17. Since then, she has a catalogue of achievements and qualifications that I don't think can be matched at her age. She has won Miss Russia Australia,
Boom.
Miss Swimsuit Australia,
Bang.
Miss Multiverse World Title, Miss Elite Australia. She's also been a dancer performer for the past 11 years, also a director of I Crave Dance Entertainment Studio, also a Russian Russian language teacher, also project management, also everything that you could ever imagine. So thank you for coming on, Valeria. It's lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much, and
Thank
thank
you.
you for such an amazing introduction. I just learned a lot about myself.
Wow.
So how do I pronounce your full name correctly?
And to the listeners, we tried this before and we epically failed.
Did not work.
Can you please tell us the full name that we sat here and looked at you and went, oh, sorry, what? So what is the full name?
Yeah, I just hope this time is going to work, because otherwise there's no point to run this production, you know?
We're ready.
So my name
That was so
is
serious.
Sizova Valeria Vladimirovna. And if that's the only way you can refer me for today's podcast, that would be lovely.
Yep, we will do our absolute best.
It's your face.
Sitting there going, what do I do? Like, oh my God.
I just won't say anything all episode.
God, I
Over
tell
to
you what.
you, Josh.
The first time you went silent.
Man, I tell you what, I just swallowed my own stomach just then. I was so nervous.
We can go as Aussie as possible. You can call me V.
V. I
Yeah?
like V.
Yeah?
That's pretty cool.
That's
That
cool.
was my favorite energy drink back in the time.
Was
V.
it?
Until I quit and got into a healthy lifestyle.
The green one?
Yes.
Oh.
So what's your
original.
favorite energy drink now?
I don't drink any.
Okay.
Coffee?
You know, I'm getting older now. I have to keep up with,
Oh yeah,
with the younger
the ripe age of
generation.
30.
you
So
drink-
old, everyone. Oh
Do you
my
drink
God.
coffee?
I do.
Yeah.
Trying to quit it, but that's probably the hardest one to quit.
And why are you trying to quit it? Because we've had multiple discussions about this over other podcasts, and for me, it's a big no-no. But why are you trying to quit it?
Trying to quit it because if I start it, it's very addictive, obviously. So once you start it, I can't finish. So if I have one coffee in the morning, it will go into 4 or 5, and you can't really keep a balance
Correct.
of you either drop it completely,
Yep.
or if I have a little bit, I'll have more throughout the day. So it's easier not to have it at all rather than...
And I guess that spans back to our conversation we had on another podcast. What's more important, control or letting go? So it's a hard one.
Yeah,
So
it is.
sometimes you need to let go to create control. But
Exactly.
anyway, tell us a little bit about you. We have got the most impressive resume from any of our guests. And unfortunately, all of our guests have been males. So males only give part of the story. Females tend to give all the story. So we've had the pleasure of reading all this. And we want to know a little bit about you, because having a big list of achievements behind you means that there was also a greater story. And typically the people who have achieved more have usually had a lot of doubt, a lot of misfortune. A lot of people have had a lot of failures. So this has been the biggest fuel in their life moving forward. So where did it all start?
It started, I would say, what I wrote also, guys, to you was something that I usually don't do. And I reckon I would encourage people to do so, because then you kind of started to appreciate that you're not that really behind. Because I think a lot of people living their life thinking they haven't done enough. And I'm struggling with exactly the same issue of thinking that I haven't achieved enough of things. When I was writing it down, I was like, actually, we're not going too bad, could be better. Like, there is a way to improve. But
Everything can be better. But
yeah, exactly. So, but with my story, it's all started me growing up in a very small village. Like, we literally have one school, no escalators, 2 levels only on the street. So I've never seen like a proper
and where
sky.
was this village? Where were we?
There was
Paint the picture for us and the viewers.
Okay, so you've got Russia.
This big.
Big, the biggest.
Bigger? Oh, okay.
Ah,
Yeah.
It is the
there you go.
biggest. Yeah, it is
There
the
we
biggest territory.
Yeah, it is big.
So I was from the far east of Russia, which is the Asian side. So I
Okay.
am the borders with China.
Yeah.
really?
like 1 hour and a half flight from Korea and 2 hours to Japan. So very Asian influence.
Yep.
So all my sweets and treats and everything, it was all Asian treats. So when I came to Australia, I was going to my Asian shops just to get my favorite sweets because that's what we used to.
Over in Chinatown, yep.
Yes, not just China, like everywhere, literally. Like it's very influenced. So in the village I was growing up, it was like a military village. We had our own like a military airport base where a lot of training is done and a lot of soldiers having their base.
Yep.
And that's where I was growing up. So it's a little bit rough looking. If I give you some photos, you might cry. But it's just
Maybe.
Not bad.
yeah, it's really bad.
I think
It's
Stephen
horrible.
will cry.
I
That's
could
why
cry.
when I came to Australia,
I
I
love that
was
stuff.
praying for
Yeah.
the beautiful scenes I was going through. But that's where I started, and I was growing into a very conservative, strict family. My father was working in police force for over 30 years as a marshal in criminal affairs. So we've been traveling in different cities and towns with him. So I changed like 4 schools. And when I was growing up at the age of 16, my father asked me if there would be any country that you would like to go to and study English. And I would ask, why do I have to go somewhere now? Because I've been so restricted with my movements. I had a driver to take me to go groceries and stuff, and no sleepovers, no friends allowed, and just very, very boring childhood, I would say. And then he just turns around and say, pick the country, go study, come back with English and, solve the country. I was like, okay, Dad, you told me I'm going to do it. So I had a choice between England and Australia. And I went for Australia because I went here when I was 15 for 3 weeks to study English. And I just felt super comfortable. People are lovely. You don't feel like an immigrant because everyone's got a cultural background. So even though I didn't speak a word of English, I felt super comfortable being here. So I didn't have to think much. They bought me one-way ticket, and then I ended up here in Australia to study English to start with. And I remember my very first day when they said, you're going to have a host family because you're under the age of 18. So you've got a beautiful Australian family who's going to pick you up from airport. They will look after you and they will help you out with English and, just getting you around. And I remember I got into airport, there was no one to meet me. And then I tried to get through the taxi driver to explain where I need to go. It was Balmain back in the time, but for me it was Balmain. So I was screaming out to get me to Balmain. The guy couldn't figure out what it is, and then I have to find emails, and he got me there, and it was beautiful, amazing Vietnamese family who didn't speak a word of English. So the level of English was matching to mine.
But the blind leading the blind, mate. Oh,
It was a blind date. And it was like 12 international students living in the same house as well. And I remember for 2 months, since I was from village, I couldn't figure it when I was taking ferry to Circular Quay. When I was coming back, why the same ferry doesn't take me to Balmain, it takes me to like Manly and other stuff. I didn't know there's like a few wharfs that you enter, but no one would be able to help me out. And every time I was supposed to come back at 6 p.m, I would like end up at 11 because it took me a while to take all my rides to get to the same spot.
Wow.
But it was pretty cute.
That's awesome. That'd be extremely difficult to pick up everything and just move countries. What was the bigger motivation behind all of that?
Yeah, I think my parents kind of prepared me for the worst in terms of moving cities all the time. So like these days we have a luxury of a family member can talk to each other to make a decision, whether it's like changing schools, it's a big deal. A father's talking to a mother, and then they're talking to kids. In our culture and when I was growing up, it was super strict. If the father needs to go, there is no discussion. You just pick your stuff, move forward, and you make new friends. If you can't make new friends, shame on you, try harder. That was kind of that's how I felt. So when I moved to Australia, there was not such a thing, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to make new friends? I knew I'm going to make new friends.
Yeah, wow.
The hardest part was for me that I am naturally very happy person, and I like to make jokes and be happy and have friends. I wouldn't understand a joke. I wouldn't be able to laugh. So my first ever jobs, people would just ask me do you have a war in your country, or why are you so why are you so stiff? And I was like, man,
But that's the Russian mentality of it in Australia. Like, if anyone goes, oh, I'm doing business with a Russian, everyone's like, oh,
Yeah,
damn.
it's the accent, but deep inside, we are pretty nice people. Like
Well, you're
considering,
just people, right?
yeah,
Everyone's just people.
yeah,
They just live in a different country.
exactly. So that, I guess, that was the hardest, just to find friends. I was just missing the moment of trying to talk to someone and then like have a laugh. Usually, I was just like, yes. And that was it.
And
That's
ladies and
how you
gentlemen,
looked
is
at me
what Russians
before
are like.
about your name, and I was like, okay.
No, I was trying to
surrender.
act serious, academic, confident.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Okay, so,
So-
how many
we-
years in Australia now? So you're here at 17 or 16?
from 17.
17.
I just literally turned 17,
so
and then
13 years in the country.
Yes.
You got here, you started to learn English, you had your struggles. You're in a home of 12 Vietnamese people who also didn't speak English, but
If they see
know.
me, I love you guys.
and then all of a sudden she starts busting out Vietnamese. Like, that'd be good.
You know what? It's so many embarrassing stories with my English and how I would come around now looking at it and I was like, oh my God, how embarrassing. I don't know if it's plus 18 plus TV show. Is it? Can I say something?
Yeah.
I remember I was at Taylor's College. That's a college you have to study before you go to University of Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
And I was late for my class. And I was like, how do I explain? Because if you're late for 50 minutes, they're not going to give you attendance. But as an international student, if you don't hit attendance over 80%, gone from the country. Within seconds, they give you 28 days to leave. And there is no way around it. But because I had like 3 jobs to pay for my studies and uni, I just had to miss it. So I was literally on like 81% and I'm going to this class and I'm so late. I was like 20, 25 minutes behind. I was like, oh my God, what do I say? And I had my massive, huge dictionary with me everywhere. I didn't have like a modern one because in our village, they didn't sell this super cool ebooks or whatever it is. So I had my huge dictionary and I was like, okay, I have to explain that I got stuck into intersection and it was like buses and I was very close and I couldn't get there. And I'm walking into the class and I'm saying I got stuck and I had a intercourse and I couldn't come earlier and I'm so sorry. And teacher looking at me laughing. The half of class understood, some didn't, and I was like, oh my God, what? That was fine. That wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I sat down, and then one of my Russian friends explained what the hell I just said out loud.
But you got away with it. So the
just the
teacher
way I
thought you were having a wild ride before you got in there and that you just
Definitely.
needed to finish before you came. Wait, that's amazing.
Horrible.
How
You know
good
how
is the
many
language
bad-
barrier? Let's go. Sometimes it works in your favour, so congratulations.
Definitely work my way. It's still
I'm laughing at him. No, yeah. I'm laughing at this guy.
Great. Oh.
Yeah.
I could just imagine that situation.
Oh.
Someone's coming there going and just busted out that line. I would have
Yeah.
been there. Well, what the fuck?
what's going on.
So you're working 3 jobs. What type of jobs were they? Cafes, restaurants,
Yeah,
things
so
like
I
that?
started as a waitress. I thought that was the best job to start. And I feel like now in our society, I think the first job, having a waitress job or like hospitality is the best way to start your life because you can learn how to talk to people and stuff. And
Tell all the young ones so they can come work for me in my restaurant. Yeah,
Please.
tell all of them.
yeah, no, I
so-
have to. That's like the best way. You entering so many different personalities. You're dealing with so many people. Like if you can sort out the problem with
And multiple
within that level.
problems and stuff. And
And
Yeah.
it's just fast paced environment. Like
hear
if
that,
you-
kiddies? You're hearing it from the best. Come work for me.
I got fired like probably
What's wrong
20
with
times.
you today? You're off the rails today.
Just came from the
mate.
gym. I'm on pre-workout still.
So cafe, any other jobs?
Yes. So I was, oh my God, I've got my actually passport now. I was illegally working as a door girl in a nightclub at
Yeah, right.
King's Cross.
Yeah, awesome.
So the managers were taking me home, driving me safely back. But I shouldn't be there under age of 18. But I started there as a door girl.
Yeah, wow.
But I had my waitressing. And that's why I picked up a job because I couldn't speak English. So I was working as a Russian teacher at the, it's called now, it's like on Pitt Street. It's like the main place where you learn different languages.
Okay. Yeah.
So
right,
I was
sure.
there as a Russian teacher.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, awesome. So then you finish college and then you
Yep.
go to uni.
Yeah, so I picked the University of Sydney.
Yep. Which is one of the most prestigious in the country. So
Yeah, I actually, the only reason I picked it, I Googled it and it looks like a Harry Potter
yeah,
castle. And I was like, I don't know where else I would go. UTS
does.
looked so ugly. I'm so
does.
sorry I was study there.
It
So when I
is.
looked at it, I was like, no.
It's
You know
all
what?
about the visual
and
appeal,
you know what's
guys.
funny about
All the visuals.
University of Sydney as well? They actually have Quidditch tournaments there. Did you ever see a Quidditch tournament when you were there?
No, man, I was working my ass
So
off.
people run around on brooms with
Yeah.
balls and they play Quidditch
Are you serious?
on the floor. Yeah, so when I was looking at unis to go to, the day I went to University of Sydney,
Yeah.
there was two teams like in Harry Potter, and they had
Yeah.
the circle rings, and they were running around with brooms within it. Like,
Oh,
and then this
God.
guy
Oh my god.
in a yellow suit
Yeah.
comes out as as the snitch, and you have to try and catch him.
Was it during the day?
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
They were not drunk.
No,
What are you,
No,
what are
not
you
under
uni
influence.
people
No.
doing?
there's a proper subculture for it.
They're probably art students. I don't know.
Jesus.
When they have time. They need to have time for it.
Yeah, I know. They've already finished their
We
painting
love-
in the morning and they've got nothing to do in the
We
afternoon.
love our students. Don't
Bachelor
worry.
of Arts.
Well,
apparently.
my degree is arts because it's
Yeah,
under
I was going
the
to say that political science is one part of the arts.
yeah. So I went for double degree studying law and political science, major in government and international relations, and then after a year I couldn't pay for law degree because it was 45 grand per semester.
Correct.
As an international student, you have to pay in advance for each semester you start. So before until you pay, you're not
Correct.
enrolled in. So well, they said to go into the political science degree, it's only 32,000.
Right.
Which was still a lot, but it was definitely doable to get through. But it was probably the hardest because when parents sent me over, they didn't realize how much it would cost. And then Russia faced a economic crash completely.
Wow.
So they had just very bad times, and my parents wanted me back because they knew they weren't able to pay for it. And then I just told them, you know what, Australia's so easy. I'll just get like some 20-hour job a week. And I was like, the payments are so high, like the salaries are awesome. I'll just pay it off quickly. So that's pretty much where I started to work everywhere to get myself through.
Wow, that's incredible as well because you said 40 grand a semester. So every 6 months.
In advance.
And how universities in Australia actually make their money is off international students.
Especially University of Sydney or UNSW.
Correct.
They're huge, and that economy really based on this international students are
Correct.
paying
'Cause
such a high rate.
The same price for someone here paying that course is probably only 10 to 15 a semester.
Yeah, it was like $500 per unit,
Yeah.
and mine was 4,000 for exactly the same unit. And then
Wow.
if you don't pass it and you go below 50, you have to redo the
Do
whole
it
thing.
again.
That was like a worst nightmare. But you know what? They were super nice to me. I only had once where I couldn't pay on time, and I just used a very bad technique to get to extend my payment plan, and I felt so bad about it. But because
Let us hear this
I'm
one.
half Ukrainian,
The last
half
one was
Russian.
great. I want to hear this one now.
Yeah, so I'm half Ukrainian, half Russian. And I don't remember what was the situation back in the time, but I pretty much said, was it a Malaysian Airlines crashed over?
The one that disappeared.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it was very bad times. And I went to Dean and I was trying to knock on the door, and they said, but you can't just see Dean. Like, you have to make your appointments anyway. What it's regarding? I said, it's regarding my fees. I'm just struggling with my family in Ukraine and Russia. And I was like, I really need to speak to someone about it. It's very serious. And I was like, oh, okay. We were trying to figure something out. And about 3-hour wait, I get to the dean's office and they said, what's the problem? And they said, well, you know, like I work and I pay for my uni fees myself, but with situation that they have in Ukraine and Russia, I had to send my money to my relatives. So I sent everything, and I have nothing to pay for uni. And I started to cry. And I'm not an actress, but I reckon after that case, I was really close to put it on my Instagram, saying that I'm a paid actor, because I cried myself out, because I think I cried because I couldn't pay. But they thought I cried because I sent all my money to my relatives.
Yeah.
So they gave me extension for like 6 months, which is a lot.
Wow.
And they gave me a loan as well on top of it, like a couple of grand. But it was like a massive help. And somewhere in Russia, you don't expect that like unis don't do that. Like it's a much better system here in Australia. And even through I'm an international student and no one really cares because you just have to pay up front. They still ended up helping me, giving me the loan and giving me extension on top of it, which I never actually believed that could actually happen. But that was one of the probably best moments at uni, knowing that, you know, even through international, they still looked after me and helped me out, even though I lied a little bit.
Well, at the end of the day, but
you finessed Sydney University.
Yes, but hey, you created the opportunity. And you went out there, you expressed your concern, you communicated it, and you tried to get an outcome. And you did that. A lot of people these days will just fold. They just fold. They go, I give up. So at the end of the day, you know, if things aren't doing well, you have to communicate them and try to find an alternate outcome. There always is an outcome.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter exactly what it is, but as long as it's not the one you're in at the moment. So there will be a door that will open up somewhere, but you have to access that room and find the doors. All right, which one's going to open?
Did you enjoy uni?
I wouldn't understand the tasks when they were giving out to me. So during exams, what happens is, because it was a political science course, I would look at the country of a discussion through the question, and I would look like, I don't know, anything mentioned in English that I would know, or like a date, and I will figure out what they're talking about, and I will write everything that I know in regards to this topic. So, and how they assess you is they give you plus and minus, like if particular point were mentioned. So because I was writing everything I know about it, and I would just learn everything by heart, I would understand the word, what I'm saying. But I just, as a kid, since I was growing up, I would have like a photographic memory. I will just remember everything by heart. I will write everything that I know, and I'll have my ticks and pluses and minuses throughout the assessment. So I would always pass them. I would have no clue of what exactly they're asking me. But it was pretty bad. Like now I'm like doing my TAFE course, and I was like, it's so amazing when you can actually understand what they're saying, especially during debates. Because during debates, the only thing I was good at was dates. Like with dates, you're like Second World War, whatever the dates they're discussing, I just knew each date and months and stuff. And then with all my Aussies around me, they would ask me for a date, and I would like say out loud like 1941, and then they continue the conversation and they do debates because they knew I have no idea what to say, but they were like,
so you remembered all the facts.
I just remember the facts,
but you didn't know what the hell was for.
Like I knew what it's about, but
sure.
I just couldn't have a proper phrase. And like with the debates, the guys are awesome. Like whoever studied with me is super smart. Going to this degree, like you're not supposed to be an immigrant like me. So the guys were already prepped and good enough to have debates, and I love debates. Just like anywhere I go, I just love debating and communicating and talking about something. Where at that particular case, the guys were obviously doing the job for me because there's a lot of team building activities and stuff at uni. That was my way to go. I'll say the date, and then the rest, and all the teachers too were pretty nice to me, considering that I would understand half of what they're saying.
Awesome. So when you finished uni, what did you get into then? You got your degree?
I've got my degree, then realised it was a big waste of time and money.
Wow,
because
I
what
love
happens,
where this story is going.
What happens is, if you decided to go to the backbench, is what this degree gets you to. I think Scott Morrison's got the same double degree. He did law and political science.
Yep.
You go to the backbench and you start from there building it up. You can't go to the backbench because if you're not a citizen for several years. Not only am I not a citizen, I'm not even a permanent resident. I'm like just like a poor international student.
Yeah.
That barely can speak English. So it was like the worst decision ever. I just did it because I love it. My whole family have got law degrees, and I just always had interest in it. But moving to another country, because no one helped me out and sat down with me and saying, what are you going to do? I just did what my family was doing. So I was like, yeah, if they did it, I can do it. But I obviously didn't realize there's a little bit of a complicated moment learning English and speaking English or whatever they're asking you to do in this country. So that was my major, I guess, issue, because I would have picked something else just to get my life easier later on to get my residency, which took me like 12 years to do.
Wow.
So after that, I just got into work pretty much straight away. I was working as receptionist, administrative job, and then I got into human resources very randomly, and that's where it got to the working sponsorship visa 457, where you can actually apply a couple of years working in the company to become a permanent resident.
Okay.
Wow. And in human resources, what were you doing in terms of human resources? Were you like firing and hiring people, things like that?
Yeah, so that was another interesting story. I was I was hired
God.
as a receptionist
Yep.
in a very new company in the middle of city, beautiful building. And I was like, oh my God, I work in the skyscraper. Wow. I go and I press the lift and it was like
Instagram moment.
Yeah, like something 20 levels above. I was really happy.
Wow.
So when I got into the receptionist job, I was like, this is the dream job. I'm not moving. I'm going anywhere. And I worked there for like 3 weeks. And I was doing, because it's a very new company and they were working on like building up the database of clients and stuff. So instead of me going at reception saying, hi, welcome to our company, how can I help you today? Or picking up the phone, I actually were creating a database, putting it on an Excel spreadsheet. I was giving it to the director and I said, listen, today, instead of me just sitting down saying hello, I was actually getting their emails and phone numbers and created a database. I got their names in, and I think that would be cool to use it for like marketing purposes because they had a call center as well. And to do cold calling, it could be very hard with marketing. Australia don't really like it. They like a bit of a personal touch to it. So I started to create a database, and then I just gave them a few suggestions of what I could have done from a customer perspective. And they just asked me, you looks like you're like very good with people. Would you consider to get into like human resources? And I was like, oh, no problem. Not a problem at all. So they gave me a separate office. So not only I'm on level 20 and above, I had my own private office
Boss lady.
after 3 weeks.
Wow.
And I used Google to figure it out what I have to do in terms of, because they didn't have human resources. They used agency before.
Yep.
So they needed internal human resources staff. So the only position was available is human resources manager. So I got in the job and I literally learned everything off Google, like how to do things. And then I had a girl.
HR.
Wait, and the girl who actually did course were my assistant, which I was teaching her. And she was like, oh my God, I never learned so much in my course for human resources. And I learned so much with you. And I was like, man, thanks to Google, life could be so much easier.
Did you tell her that you learned everything on Google, or you like, no, I got
No,
this?
I did. I'm very open with people. Like it's all about, if you really want to get somewhere, like down to the bottom, you can be at uni and you can attend all the tutorials and you can attend the lectures. You don't listen to them and you don't do your extra research at home. Like there is nothing really that gets into your head. What I did, I was reading every single day how to get stuff, how to file stuff, how to approach people when you fire them or when you hire them. Like there is so many things that are already out on the internet. And if you go through the reliable resources, you can learn so much. And human resource is about psychology. So we had like 8 staff when I got into reception, and we got into 120 staff within a year. So it was massive production. We had our marketing team, we had our sales department, we have a financial department. We have like a complaint customer service office and stuff. Like it just got into a very big company within 1 year. And I learned so fast because it was such a fast paced environment, especially having a marketing and sales team. As you know, people are up and down all the time. So we always hire. I would have like 90 interviews per week to have 90 to train 30 people, 15 to split sales and marketing, because only 3 would survive, let's say, month's time. To get really good stuff. So that gave me such a massive bonus to actually learn English in a professional way. And then obviously Google searching also helps with the vocabulary.
So fake it till you make it.
That's incredible. So pretty much everything you've done in your life, you've seen, I want this thing, I will do anything in my power to get it, and then you got it.
Yeah, it's not easy.
No,
But
definitely not.
Once you jump in, it's not that bad as it looks like. You can't be lazy. Like at the end of the day, you just have to do your job, whether you're sick and angry, upset, missing your family. At the end of the day, it's your life. So if you want to make it happen for yourself, I had no choice. I wanted to get my residency. To get my residency, I couldn't do it if I would work as a receptionist for the rest of my life. Yeah, I had to do something, and I went to Google my profession, and I knew that I could get my residency if I do a good job in this particular area, and I had to learn it.
But you had some purpose there. So
Definitely.
What
have
the
to have a
decisions-
motivation.
The decisions that you were making were fueled off what your end goal and purpose was. There's a lot of people out there who have no purpose. They don't know what their goal is. They don't know where they're going. So everything they're doing today has no meaning to it at all. No meaning at all. So
Yeah, which I can understand sometimes when you live in such a well-rounded country where a lot of things are provided and given to you and everything is so pretty, you know, parks and beautiful opportunities that you have, and people are more chilled with having no experience getting to the jobs and stuff. Like I feel like Australia is a very giving country.
yeah.
And if I don't know how I would be as a person if I would grow up here, but knowing in my country you have to fight for your position because it's such a massive population. For one placing, you have 100 people interviewing for this position. So you better be good at something, be faster, smarter, or do something much better than another 99 people to be selected for that particular role. So when you're growing up, all you need to do is to survive. And because you have that in your mind, there is no other way around of just getting job done to be able to be noticed by someone.
You are one of the most fascinating people I've ever met before. That's a positive thing.
Thank you.
Yes. That's incredible. We've only just got it started. So in human resources, when does the modeling and producing and dancing side of things come into the story?
Sure. So with dancing, it started from the age of 18. On Star Now, I got approached by one of the dance studios to come in as a teacher for kids. And I used to do ballroom dancing, and I used to I was in music school playing piano for about 8 years. So
Back in Russia.
Okay, I
so
completed.
you had dancing experience,
Yeah.
and music experience. So you can bust out a piano.
Yes.
Wow.
Not right now. I feel like
No?
I've been
Well, we've got a piano here for you.
pressure's on, but I was.
That'd be awesome.
I had such a strict teacher with me, and I had only private tutoring with her all the time because I used to stutter a lot. And when I was a kid, I would not say a word out loud, and everyone was worried that at school, obviously, I can't say anything out loud. And if I have to read a poem, I will turn around from the class to be able to read it, but I would still stutter. So parents sent me to music school, and they had a private tutor with me all the time because I was embarrassed to be around with classes and people.
Okay.
And I would study for 8 years, and then I did dancing, but only learning how to dance. And then when I got approached, the studio in St. Leonard's, I started to teach there, and I did about 2.5 years of teaching, which I enjoyed a lot. But I feel like it's taking a lot of energy because you're so consumed with them that I just shifted into doing some performances and picking up gigs, just random Friday, Saturday nights gigs. And always had interest in this, never really got into serious mode, just kind of a side job and a side cash over the weekend. And having that, I always kind of have that happening for me. With dancing, how it started, because they're kind of all separate stories. With dancing, I was doing one of the show productions. Wasn't a big fan of the show. The dancers were great, and I met my best friend, which is my best friend now. So she was talking to me, and we did the production. Every time we will start the rehearsal. We had one Jewish guy, and he will start the rehearsal with guys. You know, I'm a friend of Leonardo DiCaprio, and we're gonna have a very, very bright future. So you work very hard, and we will get to the moon with you. But when it comes to rehearsals and the shows, we were actually not getting anywhere. Like, we couldn't get crowd in and stuff. Like, it was a lot of marketing involved. It was super hard.
Yeah, but he knew Leonardo DiCaprio, so it should have been full.
Exactly. And the bright
besties.
future that we've been hearing about, like, it was really getting molded in our brains.
It wasn't that bright.
Yeah, it wasn't bright at all. But my friend back in the time wasn't that friend yet. She said, why won't you do your own thing? You're so good dancing. And I told her about choreography. I like choreography, and I just got so many ideas in my head, and this could be done better, and this could be done better. And she was like, why don't you open your own thing? I was like, what do you mean? Like, it's a big job if I open
Like a
my
dance
own
studio, you
like
mean?
like a dance entertainment company where you provide shows yourself. So don't dance for someone else, do it for yourself, and actually have dancers. Because I was like, I don't feel like dancers were treated appropriately within our community. I think we deserve more in terms of money, payments, gigs, costumes, outfits, rehearsals. Like I felt like a lot of things were missing while I was doing those gigs. And then she said, yeah, just do it. And I was like, oh, it sounds like a big job. I won't be able to do it on my own. And she was like, well, I can help you. And she is a ballroom champion in Europe. So she's like a big deal. So I was like, okay, if you help me, maybe we can get it done. And within 2 months' time, we came up with a name. And then we start doing it. So that was like in 2018 when I actually opened up iCrave Dance Entertainment and registered the business and start getting in that field. With modeling, I couldn't get through my working sponsorship. It fell through. So I had a notice of 28 days to leave the country. And when I tried to reapply for another sponsorship working visa, I had a class B, which means while I'm trying to get a sponsorship, I'm not allowed to work. And I had like a 6 months gap where actually legally I cannot be employed anywhere, which will drive me insane. And I just saw a random local beauty pageant competition where you can win $500. And I was like, you know what? I need money. So, and I think it was like 1,000 actually. Yeah. So it was a real deal, okay? For me, it was a lot of money for cash.
Quick grand.
Yes. So I was like, you know what? I can only try. So it was like Miss Northern Beaches. I'm not even in the Northern Beaches. I was in Cronulla. I was shy girl.
Yeah.
But for the money, I'm happy to be
so
Northern
you needed
Beaches.
your passport to cross the bridge and you
Yes.
went over to Northern Beaches.
Yes.
Wow.
So I got in there. I had no idea what I was doing. I remember even my first bikini. It was so embarrassing. I had like a grandma cut, which is not allowed for beauty pageants these days. Like,
A grandma cup.
Yeah, like, you
What's
know,
a
like-
grandma
A
cup?
thick band.
Like a
like-
thick,
like
Yeah,
a
thick
thick
band.
one,
thick
huge
band.
one.
So you didn't go minimal. You went maximum.
No, because that's the only one I had. Like, I never thought I would be a model. My parents are very conservative. So to do modeling, it's like close to prostitution. Like, you just
Wow.
don't do it.
Wow.
So
Well, it seems very rigid, the Russian lifestyle. So
Yeah,
anything
so-
that puts yourself out there, they're like, cut that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So my parents didn't know that I was actually doing dance gigs. And of course, they wouldn't imagine me doing any sort of modeling because, you know, like this is not in our family. Like, you know, we're much better than this.
Your dad's a cop. Yeah.
Yes. So
No dating back in Russia.
no dating. No, zero.
Yeah.
Still
Go on.
now, like, you know,
Still now.
husband is a mystery.
Oh,
I'm joking.
God.
No. Exists.
Oh, God.
No, he's still there. He's in the picture.
We love you, husband. We love you.
So what happens is I go through this beauty pageant experience with my granny bikini on. And I remember I made such a bad mistake. They said to come up with a beautiful, cool idea where you wear your bikini, have like a cool on, like a prop to use. So it's not just like a boring bikini because grandma is not boring, obviously, enough. So I decided to buy a fur from Zara. And when on the MC asked me, I said, so Valeria, tell us, like, is this fur real? In Russia, you have to say, yes, it's a real fur. It's very expensive. It's cool. In Australia, it's opposite.
Yeah.
It was artificial, $40 fur, but I said it was real. So the crowd went like, ooh. And I was like, what did I say wrong?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and my partner after said, he was like, you don't say it's real.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, but in Russia, it's cool. Like, you know, it's real deal. I was like,
They didn't
no.
like it?
No, people didn't like it, didn't support me. So I was not going very good with this competition, but I did place third. So I was second runner up through this first local pageant that I did, and I won like 500 cash on the night. And then I thought, I found a way to make my money.
Yep.
So I decided to, how rude.
That is rude.
So rude.
How rude.
Never
Bloody
that
mortgage
happened.
brokers.
They don't know what a myth is, right?
Mine's on Do Not Disturb.
Exactly.
It's always
Same.
mine.
Far out.
Yeah. It's
No
a bit of a
People
consistency
wanting
a
money.
path in there.
Stephen, give me money.
Let's continue.
Yeah. Anyway, so I got my first cash,
Yeah.
and you know what? For 6 months, I actually picked up a few random jobs because there were some judges at the panel that wanted the models for their brands,
Yep.
and they just asked me to come in for a shoot. So I shot for one person, shot for another, and then the pictures I was posting it on Instagram, Facebook, and then a few people also messaged me, and like some of the friends said, "Oh, now you do modeling. They want to come in and model for my brand." And I was like very cheap money, like very low rate, something very basic or like TPF and stuff. So I did a few of jobs like this, and I just got into the good speed, and I picked up a few jobs, and I feel like within 3-4 months I progressed much better with my poses and stuff. And I just started to pick up more jobs through like Star Now and all the online platforms. And that's how I got into modeling. Very randomly, didn't expect it to do it at any point of time. But because I started to get the jobs, I felt like maybe I could be good at and just develop my skill from this. And then that's how I entered my first pageant / like a bikini competition. It was back in the time, it was Miss Supercars. Now they got rid of this competition because of the grid girls now, not a part of the scene anymore. So back in the time, you fly to Gold Coast and you do your grid duties, and then you do 1 week of finals with all the girls there. And that's how I got into pageant and got sent like to China, to Egypt, to Dominican Republic to compete for the country.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's incredible.
Jumping from thing to thing.
Do you agree with people taking away good girls, considering it is a part of their income and they get to go do a pageant after? Do you think it was a good move, getting rid of good girls?
No, I don't support they get rid of the grid girls. I feel like it's a part of a culture.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it. It's fun. It's cars. It's it's a sexy picture. You've got cars. You've got girls there. You've got the girls with the flag. Like the girls don't do anything. They don't distract the drivers.
Yeah.
They just at the very beginning.
Distract me.
We're literally there for a few minutes. Wave the flag and get the hell out of that scene. That's it. The rest is done on another side. But it's just, it was cool because we actually we were parading in the cars with drivers. So you get to meet one of the driver because there's a driver in the middle at the back, and then you got your 2 grid girls. So you got opportunity to chat with them and get to know them. Take
Now
a
she's
photo.
married one.
Yeah,
Is your husband a driver?
he drives Range Rover. Yes,
Oh,
he's a
okay.
driver.
Okay, but
He's
he's not
got
a
full
race car.
license. He's
not-
got full license.
So he's not a race car driver.
No, but he can be.
Fair enough.
On the Sydney roads, he's not too bad,
Okay, yeah, he drives the speed limit. Yep.
So when you travelled around doing the pageants, was there a particular contest that was for? Was it?
Yes, so all different pageants. The
Okay.
first one I won was Australian pageant. So it was Miss Russia Australia. Obviously representing 2 cultures, which gave me a lot of opportunities because you compete for a few weeks. You're meeting a few judges, you're meeting people with the different brands, and then one brand picks you from the group of girls. Then someone else will pick you from that shoot and stuff, and that's how your jobs pretty much started to flow your way. So it was a good way to do it very fast. Track to get to the modeling jobs instead of going through casting calls with thousands of girls waiting in the line. You go through the pageant. If you place somewhere good, let's say top 3, top 5, you're gonna get jobs regardless, and you can put your rate higher because you place somewhere. So it was a good shortcut for me to get into modeling without going through the casting and going through the agency, because in agencies there's so many girls on the books. You have to be a personal favorite for these agents for them to promote you rather than the other 50 girls that I have on the books.
Yeah,
It's
wow.
like building your resume up.
Literally, that was my
Through
way.
hard work, yeah, through hard
that was my way to get through the modeling jobs, because I knew that would be my shortcut to get through. Because as a dancer, I know how to walk. I just wasn't good with my personality, I guess, that I have to work with, or like poses and stuff. So that all developed through. And because it's such a very high pressure environment, you learn very fast.
Yep.
You're on stage for your 2 minutes, you better do it good now. So you get on the stage, you come back, and I was like, oh, you know what, that wasn't good. That was too fast. I don't have to rush it. I have to look through every single judge and look at them and give them appreciation note or something, and then do your job properly. So you come back and you get better and better. Getting confidence on stage will get you much better with your confidence behind the scenes of doing just still photos, because it is much easier than doing the walking. Present yourself with a few people that you have in front of you as the panel of judges. So and then the competition that got me through with the Proc and Leisure, which is Miss Supercars, Miss Maxim magazine, and then they have Face of Origin, which happens during the State of Origin competition.
Right.
They send me over to China, and I place first runner-up, second in the vault for their pageant.
Really?
I think there was like 40 girls with me, and that was my first international one when I felt a little bit of confidence. At the same time, it was different culture, so different attitude and stuff. Chinese are much more strict with things they do, so it was a much tougher schedule. So when I came back from China after like a month there, Australian competitions felt much easier for me, and I was doing much better here, because you know what, If you complain in China, there's no way like you can survive any other pageants because they are super, super strict on you. Like they don't care. Like you wake up at 3 a.m. and you're up on your feet until 12 a.m. and then you have your 2-3 hours sleep and then you line up having your shower. And if you don't have a chance to have a shower, you come back and you do the job. So it's like a full-on, all sponsors required activities that we do, or photo shoots throughout the day. And because you have your 40 girls, it just takes the whole day to do all the activities and stuff. So I went there, compete. So first runner up, not a winner, but I went to Dominican Republic to compete for TV reality show / beauty pageant Miss Multiverse, and then I won that world title back in 2020, and that was my other big title that got me a few jobs and got me into becoming a producer for a TV show here in Australia, which we filmed last year.
And what's that show called?
So it's called Miss Multiverse Australia.
Yeah, okay.
It's a bit of a different concept to a regular pageant, and I absolutely fell in love with the concept because when you look at, let's say, Miss Universe or all these well-known pageants, you will have no idea who would be the winner because everyone looking super pretty and stunning. And I was like, well, what type of judgments they're going through? Is it like a personal liking? And then by majority, they're going to pick the most good-looking girl in their eyes. It's super tricky and hard. Where it comes to Miss Multiverse, girls are already pretty. Everyone knows this. And there's no doubt that they are amazing. Their looks are given and the figures are incredible. What we do is we're taking them through different challenges. And as a model, I guess the main issue within our industry is the attitude and how you pursue doing your job, how people enjoy shooting you, and how you doing your job delivering the results that they needed from you. So we take them through a roller coaster of different challenges, starting with IQ test, doing fitness challenge, and wait until the last girl completely dies on that field, and then you can only give up from the challenge. You can't just quit. So if you quit, you're gone, and you place yourself somewhere at the back row. And if you stay until the end, you're going to be the last woman standing. That's one of our fitness challenges, which were like the hardest one to do.
Wow.
You do like marketing challenge, you do your social media challenges, you do shoots, but you don't do a beauty shoot, you do shoot with obstacles. So you do like a wild animal shoot. You go underwater, which is much harder. Obviously, you can't breathe and still have to have like a very short period of time when you can impress your photographer and stuff. So the judges are not the guys that are sitting by the panel and judge how you look and how your body look.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different elements to it. Whether you listen to your photographer, who will be the judge of how you progress in your photo shoot. IQ test, obviously, if you hit a high mark during your intellectual challenge, great. If you didn't do very well, you're going to place somewhere at the bottom. And with the girls, someone who's so good looking and pretty and confident, they're sitting down every day with me during the interview. And after 3 challenges every day, I ask them same question. How do you think you're going throughout your challenges? Do you think you're at the top? And some girls said, well, I'm obviously the most good looking one, so I don't think I'm going to be struggling. And then day 2, and she is not confident about the IQ test, and because we don't give out results straight away, she's sitting there thinking. She was like, my photo shoot was incredible, I know this, but I'm not sure about the IQ. Like, I haven't done it before, and I'm not sure about this one. And then the next challenge, we had like a scary box challenge where the girls have to put their hands in the box, and then they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
This one was tricky because someone so pretty don't want to look ugly in front of camera when you're going with your hands in there. So they're like trying to do it cute, but then they might just say, we're not going to proceed with the challenge because then I'm not going to look my best. Or like during the fitness challenge, they don't want to sweat. They want people to see them looking pretty.
Wow.
So they don't want to sweat.
They don't want to sweat. So a lot of girls trying their hard, but they're not concentrating on the task.
How do you try really hard not to sweat? Like if you're competing at a high intensity, like do you have to think like, don't sweat, don't sweat, don't sweat.
They just
One
don't do it.
bead comes down your face.
They don't do it properly. They don't do it properly.
I think she means they just half-ass it and then they just give up before they have
give
to
up.
look.
They give up. Yeah. So we had a few girls giving up, and some girls that went hardcore nailed it, and they didn't care how they looked in front of cameras because cameras are everywhere. So
I like that.
Yeah, it's like psychologically interesting. And you know what? A lot of people consider someone that is good looking and pretty like, well, how would they have struggles? They're like, living their fancy best lifestyle. And then you're getting them in the scene kind of survivor / top model vibe. And then you're looking at the girls who are so confident are actually questioning if they are actually that good looking and that confident.
Yeah, wow.
And then gives such an anxiety to the personality that most girls just cried throughout our interviews because they just couldn't handle the pressure of placing themselves to either 1 to 5 to top 10 to top 17.
So
It's
how
very
many girls
heartbreaking.
were there? Because this is the show here. So
Oh,
how many-
yes. Oh,
yeah.
wow. Oh, you see, I got my photo just to make sure I've got extra marketing.
I was gonna ask if that was you.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
I know, I've got makeup on. That's
Yeah.
You've got a
Bit
Taylor
better.
Swift vibe going on.
Yeah,
up
that's
there.
what I was
Yeah?
thinking. You got more Taylor
Yeah.
Swift vibe going.
Can you sing too?
No, pretty horrible. Pretty horrible. I can just do a bit of
So
dancing, I guess.
you competed in this show overseas, and now you're a producer in
Yes.
Australia.
Yes.
Awesome. How did that come about? Did you propose it to them, or did they come to you? Because
No, I was very close with the lady who was running it, and back in that when I was competing in the Dominican Republic, I won IQ Challenge, I won Fitness Challenge, I won Marketing Challenge, I won Leadership Challenge, and something with management.
Yep.
So I pretty much hit all the marks when it comes to leadership and running the whatever they were doing. And the lady was keep coming up to me, just talking about everything. And I was running some fashion shows here locally in Australia. And because I run my dance company, obviously know how to organize events, run things, run people, and help out with organizational side of things. I love it. I never there's a lot of issues and, Yes. Yeah. So me and Jessica competed same year, and she came first runner up, second, and I came first. So that was 2020.
yeah, awesome.
So she represented her country. So what else?
Where was she from?
Australia.
Oh, so she's an Australian.
So she was Australia. I represented Russia when I was in 2020. It was my last chance to represent Russia before things went south for everyone. So
Russia's had a bad run, haven't they?
yeah, no.
Olympics.
So I'm just undercover Aussie for now.
Undercover.
Pardon?
Yeah, you're the shining star of Russia.
You're
That could
all
be
they
your
ha-
nickname.
You're all they
Shining
have right
Star
now.
Russia.
You're the last hope.
Literally.
So you helped produce the show, and has it finished filming?
Yes. So we filmed in March 2022. Now we're at final stages of editing. So what we did is I traveled interstate to select the best of the best we have in each state to represent Australia for potential international competition. And then we got them all together in Sydney to live in the mansion all together. We got top 17 girls and they were all living together for 10 days. And that's where all the filming took place with all the challenges that we came up with.
Wow.
And where's this aired?
Yeah, is
How
there
do
a
you say-
release date?
Yeah, so it's going to be aired and streamed on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
The release date is not up to discussion yet, but it will be somewhere this year.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I would even watch that.
Be a fun watch.
That sounds
Yeah,
awesome.
it'll be fun.
That
Yeah, no,
sounds
I
awesome.
obviously I've seen it.
Yeah,
but
you've done
some
it.
Snippets.
Yeah.
It's
And you're
it's
like the
super,
harsh. You're like one of the harsh judges there, telling them to do
I
stuff.
do have some
Bringing out your inner Russian.
You know what? I wanted to get myself out of the scene as
Yeah.
much as possible,
Yeah.
but because I got so involved in some of the arguments, and I had to step out and do my separate interviews to the camera to explain that it is a pageant. People are getting judged, and people are getting judged everyday life. You know, we're getting judged when we're applying for a job.
Sure.
We're getting judged where we go at the cafe and I don't know, we dress not appropriate or
On
to
social media, we get judged.
Yeah, like you're getting
every
judged
day.
everywhere. But a lot of girls going into pageants sometimes don't realize that they can't handle the judgment in that environment because it's like a snippet and it's like a close up and a zooming in version of judgment towards your personality, the way you look and everything you do
Yeah.
by different people. So it hits you even harder. So a lot of girls entering the pageant and telling me during the casting, saying that I would like to empower different women to feel confident about themselves and feel great in their own skin, going into this pageant, and day 4, they're crying out loud, saying, I don't like to be judged. And then I got into my interview. Yeah, and I got into my interview and saying,
Good
girls,
sales story, eh?
if you are deep inside not confident, this pageant is not for you. You go into pageant not to feel good about yourself. You go into pageant to compete because you think you can bring something to the table, and then you use that platform to advocate. Let's say if it's empowerment, go for it, woman. But if you know deep inside and you know you're not confident, don't go there because it's just going to make it worse for you and for everyone who's watching. It's not going to be a healthy way to get into the pageant, because I see a lot of girls trying to go in the pageant to bring their self-confidence, because they're going to be on stage, they're going to have some photos, they think they're going to go confident. And then after pageant, I see them and they are in the deepest depression ever.
Wow.
And they can't get out of it for months after that.
So what would be, and it seems like, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, you're a role model for a group of people, probably young females who want to be successful, who want to be part of the modeling, dancing, or pageant sort of industry. So if you were sitting here as a mentor and you were chatting to a group of girls right now, what would you say to the girls in front of you? What would be the most important thing right now for them? That they're in this position.
Yeah.
They want to be maybe in your position, or they want to do bigger and greater things. But what are the biggest struggles, and what would you tell them?
Sure. I hope I can be a role model for those girls and people that are looking up to me in some way. I guess the main thing to concentrate is the non-comparison to others, because we all going through different stages of life.
Yep.
Just because I am at my stage of life where, let's say, I just won a pageant, not necessarily mean that I'm doing much better than that girl, because her time haven't come yet, or maybe her purpose in life is completely different. And being in pageants myself, I haven't been placed first in many other pageants that I haven't competed in. And when I didn't place in those pageants, there was no a thought of me saying that, you know, I'm going through a depression moment now because I'm not good enough. I did feel like I have to do so much better than I'm doing now, which is very normal. Like in any job, you're going into the job, you're getting experience, you're getting much better within time. It's the same with pageants. You're not supposed to compare yourself with anyone else. Everyone goes through different stages. You're going to have your time. You're going to have your luck, which is also a part of a percentage of success in anything we do. You just need to be placed within the right time, right people around you, and the right mind frame to be where you should be. And then sometimes people are working super hard for years and they don't see the result, but it might take you 10 years, it might take you 1 year. You never know. All you have to do is to do your best
and stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane, 100%. Like I see some people get more lucky than me in some sense, but never ever I thought a bit of jealousy towards them, because you know it's their life. They might be lucky at something, and they might not be lucky of having two parents like I have. I have two parents, and they both love me, like just basics. You know, like everyone's got their good things and bad things in life, and then if you just progress in your own path, and then you just keep smashing your own goals, 100% it will pay back.
You're one step further. You know, you're always one step further. And I think, you know, Stephen and I have always had the mindset that we can graduate success, because behind the scenes is what a lot of people don't see. And this is why we're so focused on running in your own lane, because the people in their other lanes, they don't have the detailed documentary of what's going on in your life to be able to get that success. So being in your own lane, being original to you, and not diversifying too much into other people's stuff, typically you're going to get there one step at a time.
100%. And sometimes you do think, let's say, I want to be a pageant queen. And then do everything and you're just not getting placed. And it's like been 7 years of your life. You're not there and the time is ticking because you got your age limit to apply for these pageants. It might mean that you progressed so well that your catwalk is sensational that people are going to be asking you to be a catwalk trainer for all these girls.
Yep.
And then you end up to be a trainer for all these amazing pageants that you've been a part of, and you're going to be doing so much more with that, and you never know where it will take you. But because you've been doing so good and you're putting your hard work, it paid off, not in the way that you were putting yourself in, but in a completely different angle, but it could be even better.
But life will do that. Life will drag you in different directions that you didn't expect.
Exactly.
You know?
So as long as you keep pushing, you don't know which door is going to open, but it will open if you are doing the right thing.
Persistent enough.
Yeah.
Well, talk about opening doors. I've got some props here. you've been on the front cover of some magazines.
Yes.
Now, what magazines are these, and how did it come about? Was it just bookings, and upon bookings you get a new job, and then
Yes.
follows on?
So
What is this?
L'Officiel, we got Glamour. L'Officiel
one?
actually one of my mum's favorite magazine when I was a kid. So she would buy every single.
She would have been proud of that one.
She was so happy.
Yeah.
I had to send her like 10,000 copies so she can spread it across Moscow.
Brown hair.
No, it's just the lighting, and it was
Really?
the day was horrible. It was
Yeah, right.
overcast, and it was filmed. It was done in bay next to airport at Muscat.
Yep.
Super doom day, no lighting, like
That's
it
right.
was just it was just horrible day.
I've got an original copy here of Glamour, and
Yes.
it's still in its
Glamour.
plastic. So this is like a volume 1.
How cool is that?
Limited
Yeah,
edition,
special.
special edition. Hasn't been opened. It's barely been touched.
Was this the first front cover you've been on, or were you on other
No,
covers
I have
before
I have
this?
Graz as well, which I didn't bring. I'm sorry, I was rushing into today. That's my second one. I think L'Officiel and Glamour was the last one.
How did you feel the first time you saw yourself on the front of a magazine?
You would imagine to say like I was so happy and excited. I looked at it and I was like, what am I doing next?
Awesome.
So I did not feel, I guess that's something that is lacking within my personality. I don't give myself enough credit. I don't have time for it. And I feel like, no, not
I
like,
love that.
no, I mean,
I
like,
love
I
that.
don't feel like I have to
No, I
sit
agree.
down and talk about it. I was like, how good looking we're looking. Like, I don't, sometimes photographers show me photos of me. In my eyes, I look boring and the same. So I ask someone else to pick it for me because I don't get excited looking through my photos. So when they do the job, I get into the hands of creatives and I'm just like a coat hanger or a person who just delivering the job of movement to them to get that perfect shot. I enjoy the process of the shoot and then achieving the result. It ended up on such an amazing cover and I love it, but I don't sit down at home patting myself saying, woman.
So no ego
you
stroking
are-"
going on.
No, I'm very like, for me,
Next
it's
thing.
like, for me, like, okay, this is done. What are we doing next? Like,
Yeah,
hurry
hurry
up.
up, let's
Like,
go.
why are we delaying the
Hurry up.
next
I love
thing?
that.
So,
That's why we're all friends here, because we can't sit still.
No, correct.
None of us. But actually, I read
It is
one of the pages.
it is
now.
amazing achievement though. So you should be
Yeah.
congratulated for it because it is awesome.
Thank you. Definitely wouldn't happen without amazing photographer, video photographer, makeup, hairstylist, stylist with all these clothes and designs and brands that got involved.
Yep.
It's such a big job. Like you look at it and then you only can appreciate the model, but the team is massive behind it.
Yeah,
And if like if
you're
my
right.
makeup's not going to be done right, I might
But
not.
it's very cool that whole team was there for you.
Yeah.
Like you had all the attention that day, and you created that opportunity. Didn't
Yeah.
fall off a tree.
No, definitely.
And I crave dance and
Really struggling with the names
entertainment.
today.
I am. Hey,
You crave dancing.
I crave dancing. I
Yes.
do. I just want to do a bit
And
of
entertainment.
dance. Yes. No,
Wow.
I crave dancing and entertainment.
Wow. What a statement.
What are some examples of the things that you guys do at your company?
Sure. So, as I mentioned, started all in 2018. We're trying to pretty much spread our dancing skills, not into a particular field of dance environment. So we do corporate events, wedding, entertainment, when you need dancers for your most special day in life. We go through festivals and I created a cabaret show since last year. That was
wow.
something that I really want to do. That's my husband, by the way. Just a bit of a credit.
Just here?
Yeah, just
Is he a
this
musician?
guy. So he is in the construction industry, but he's got his side gig. He's a musician. He plays guitar and sings.
Yeah, awesome.
So in our family, he's a singer and I'm a
He's a
dancer.
good-looking dude.
He's not bad, actually. Yeah,
What's his name?
Anthony.
Anthony, you're not bad. You go all right.
So we do obviously
awesome.
special acts, some fire and some crazy like zorbing ball and
A
stuff.
few little like Brazilian showgirls and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so
Bit of
pretty much-
batucada,
Yeah.
samba.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes. Martini Glass should be in the special act. Yeah.
Love that.
So what we're trying to do, instead of the client comes to us and they're asking, so what are you guys doing? I'm asking them what they would like to see. There is no restriction of what type of talent. If you scroll down. Yes, in the special act, maybe down below.
Fire
Photos.
breathing stuff.
We got fire. This guy won the best one in Australia. incredible.
So you're like pretty much like an agency for performing arts.
Yes, and then
Right.
it said the main point of difference, people coming up to us, and if they tell me what they want, what type of artist they want, I will find that person.
Yeah, wow.
Whether it's a special skill and they need some circus trained performers, or they need a dance routine, I'll ask them what their favorite song,
Yeah.
what style they admire the most, and we'll create this. So I'll put the choreography together, and then I'll put my dancers together. I'll put the costumes and outfits. I've got like 400 outfits in my studio, and I'll dress them all up and then create the look for them.
Yeah, wow.
When I saw the thing up there saying flash mob, I automatically thought about that crazy thing online. You know that flash mob that was around for like a while, and everyone just sat still and like nodded, and then it just dropped into the song, and everyone went crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen that? It was like
It's
everywhere. Like the military did it overseas too. Like everyone's
it's
sitting
a
there
lot
at
of
the
flash
song.
mobs. Like
That was
it's
the
very
Harlem
popular
Shake.
with
Harlem Shake.
That's what that was.
Yeah, they call it the Harlem Shake
That was like
flash
from
mob.
2012.
How funny
Yeah.
was that though? I saw the word
I was
flash
still a
mob and I
baby.
couldn't get out of my head.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my god.
Right,
This
so
is
that's
cool.
awesome. Would you be able to get a string quartet if I wanted to have like a party and have a
Yeah.
string quartet, a violinist?
yeah.
Is that possible?
Yes, definitely.
Anything's possible with this young lady.
I've been wanting to
Wait,
do
so
that.
yeah, that's the only thing is that I don't like agencies coming and telling you what they have.
Yeah.
I like to see what they're after, because I have the circle of all these talented people, and I can create it for you, whatever you want to do instead.
awesome.
So I always ask, what would you like to see?
Yep.
Any creative ideas, and then I'll throw some ideas into, and I have some amazing people and so talented people around me who will create something. Like it's not a choreography that is ready to go and done. It's something that will be created for that particular event and make it as special as possible.
That's awesome. I could have used this a number of times in the past.
Definitely.
And,
That's
and a
very-
popular business. Like this is
It's definitely
doing
popular.
well.
I feel like in Europe and America, it's much more appreciated
Yeah.
with live entertainment and events.
Sure.
But I feel like because Australia is not exposed to what could be provided and given, they haven't seen that yet.
Sure.
They don't know if they can ask for it. So my job is to provide as much entertainment. If they're going to like different events and then they see one of our shows, they was like, that looks cool. I want to do that too. But instead of this, I might want to like add something else. And then we can create that
Yeah,
space
wow.
for them.
That's amazing.
Oh, it's always really nice going to an event and having some type of performance happening in the
Yeah.
background. It really brings everything together and
Yeah.
creates a beautiful vibe.
Can we go to better videos? This is like old, 3-4
Yeah,
years
can we go to
old.
the new stuff, mate? Far
If you
out.
go back,
Come on, Brendo.
show you some like
Brendan.
Michael Jackson type of show that we've
Michael
You have
done
a Michael
recently
Jackson show.
during the gala night for the
I hope
Youth
it's not full
Ultimates.
service.
While he's getting that
No,
up,
I hope it's not
Fine.
full service Michael Jackson.
This one. White guy,
while,
yeah.
while he's getting that up, so is all this information on your Instagram? What's your Instagram handle?
All right, my Instagram handle
Is it one of like is it an easy one to?
It's an easy one
Oh,
if you
thank
can spell
God.
my name.
Here,
So
I'll
it's
bring
not
it
gonna
up.
happen with you.
all right, let's-
I'm,
Josh might
Stephen,
pick it
You're
up.
done.
I am quite.
All right,
I
my
am
Instagram's ready. What is it?
Valeria VALERIA.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I've got it.
Quite, already
already.
got it. Look at that.
It's over.
Proves
Yeah.
you wrong.
Yes.
That's what I do. Prove people wrong.
That's it. That's you.
Yes, it's me. If you don't mind
There
following,
you go.
please.
On the
Oh
camera.
yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
I'll
Yeah,
consider
sure.
following
Do,
you
do
back.
I get a follow back or?
I'll think about it.
She has to see. She has to see. It has to be. The ratio has to be okay. How many
Wow.
people are following her and how many people she's following?
All right, so
if you
everyone,
go-
jump onto the social media and have a look at all this stuff here on Instagram. You'll see the whole story. A really impressive Instagram too. Look at this.
Sorry, more. I think it's like for the video. No,
This is
sorry,
awesome.
on the right hand side. Oh, that was that. Sorry, I'm sorry. Get out of it then.
So for people on Spotify, we're trying to find a Michael Jackson performance. This is awesome.
How do I put him down? Down. Oh, okay, maybe special act. Sorry, because it is a special floor work.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my
So
laptop's
can you go
shit.
to the right hand side all the way? So I'm not the one obviously doing the website, otherwise I would know better. Is that all the way? Okay, sorry. Get out of it then.
Oh, that was good.
We can go YouTube. Right. It's definitely somewhere there. Just don't know where it's. exactly was placed.
And
While
you're
we're
doing a
looking
Michael Jackson performance.
And
is that
wh-
what it
and
is?
Yeah, it's just one of the gala nights. So there was the most recent one. We've got 13 dancers and look pretty awesome. And it's very iconic. Obviously, I'm a big
Do you want
fan
me to
of
put it on
Michael
my
Jackson.
phone, Brendan? I can share it up there. Or you got it.
And I've read somewhere that either you or I Crave Dance and Entertainment did shows with some DJs. Was that you personally who
Yes.
with the DJs?
Yes. I dance with Timmy Trumpet, Will Sparks, and all our
Yeah, wow.
Aussie stars. But when it comes to international events, number 4.
There we go.
When it comes to international events like Transmission, there was a recent event with 20,000 people.
Wow.
We got the gig, and I've got my 6 dancers, including myself,
Really?
performing with that.
How do you get that gig?
Have to be nice to people, you know.
I've been attacked this whole time. I've never been attacked more in my life.
How good's this? So to all the people out there who love to put on a proper show, go on to I Crave Dance and Entertainment. This is the real deal. There's a full Michael Jackson production happening on our back screen here on YouTube. And this is a proper choreographed routine.
Yep. Yeah, like we do like showgirls and obviously very themed to a particular event. Because it was the gala night, we really mixed it up with some different type of entertainment.
This should be great for corporate stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Corporate people are the ones actually looking particularly on that style or like Gatsby kind of vibe.
Wow. I like
Super
that.
popular within that field. But as I said, if you haven't seen that could be created in Sydney, how would you know it could be booked? And I've seen so many people that actually haven't even heard about it. So to spread the word,
I haven't. I've been looking for a string quartet for a while actually, and I've been
Yeah.
hard to find. But there's a couple of places there, and a couple of other ideas I've gotten
yeah,
for events. But yeah, I've never had. There's no one central place that you can go and say, "Hey, I want to build this. How do
Yeah.
we do it?" So
Can you please
it's
find him
great
a
to
string
see.
quartet?
Oh,
Please.
Not right now.
No,
Like right
I'll
now.
finish the
Not right
podcast
now.
and then
No.
I'll
I
drive
don't need
to
one. Don't need one. I don't need one right
I
now.
wanted to see the full experience
Give me
of
a couple-
booking one.
have to get it.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
couple of
no.
months we get a string quartet
yeah.
reckon we could do it.
for my birthday, but they have to be able to play Post Malone
Wow.
on the
okay.
string quartet.
Really?
We want
Cool.
like a
I'm a
sick
bit of
vibe.
posty.
Yeah,
No,
we
I
don't
can
want
feel the
classical.
vibe.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, well, really appreciate you coming on today, and thanks for your efforts getting over here. I know it was a bit of travel, but it was a really cool insight. I think we were quite excited to to have you on after we read your impressive resume, and I think it's been a really cool experience to have our first female on the podcast. How cool is that?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
and she made fun of me the whole time.
Which is great. Honestly, there's no better podcast than to make fun of Stephen for a whole hour. This is awesome.
No, thank you
So,
guys.
no,
I
it was
appreciate
a lot of
you
fun.
having me today.
Awesome.
Yeah,
was
and good luck
super
with
fun.
all your endeavors. You've got lots going on, and I love that entrepreneurial spirit. I look forward to watching this program. Is it Multiverse?
Miss
Right.
Miss Multiverse
Yes.
on Amazon
Prime.
Prime.
Soon.
Great.
Any other promotions or Instagram handles you want to shout out before we finish the podcast?
Yeah, maybe our I Crave Entertainment page.
Yep.
It's a little bit easier than my name. It's just I Crave Entertainment.
We've learned that the hard
With the
way,
letters
haven't
that
we?
it should be there.
Haven't we? We learned that the hard way.
Oh God. No, it's been a really fun experience today, and no, thank you so much for taking the time out. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we all hope to connect somewhere in the future. So thank you so much. And I think that's a wrap for today, mate. Thank you,
Awesome.
Brendan. Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Brenda.
Thank you.
And we'll see everyone on the next episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.